Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you are listening to High School Hoops with our hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Steger.
Let's do that. All right, welcome to High School Hoops, episode 61. It is November. One of my favorite holidays is over, which is Halloween. I love Halloween. So this week, before we get going, a couple things. First of all, big shout out to Dr. Dish. Make sure you go over and check them out. If no other reason, it's a great Midwest company. We love Midwest companies, but it's a great shooting machine. I'll tell Jake a story. My son just got back from a fall ball thing, and they were down 16, and he ended up hitting 7 threes. Thank Dr. Dish. Thank Dr. Dish. Yes, he has shot a lot of threes in his life. So mention High School Hoops or Coach Unplugged. They'll give you $300 off. That's the first thing. Second thing is go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Yep. Just go check it out. You won't be disappointed. You'll get an email from me. I had office hours. When did I have office hours? A couple days ago. It was great talking about kind of building a youth program and things like that. So go over and check it out. Send me an email if you have any questions. All right, what's this week, Coach?
Well, last week we talked about establishing your first 2 weeks of your offense and your base offense. Now we want to address a question that from our Facebook page about defense. So, Coach, what is your aim or what is your approach your first 2 weeks in regards to defense?
And I think you mentioned this last week. I definitely try to get more things in defensively than on the offensive end.
Absolutely.
Just because I think I can disrupt you more early on the defensive end, because you're probably not going to have all your arsenal in, and I can have much more of my arsenal in defensively. So I try to really layer defenses. Like, I'm going to have a pressure defense. I'm going to have a half-court defense. And a lot of them are going to be based on the same principles. We'll maybe do a denying defense. We'll maybe do a special defense where we're going to take one or two players out of the game.
Right.
All that stuff.
Just little layers within what you already do.
Yes, but I'm going to have a lot of that in the first couple weeks because a lot of kids play football, a lot of kids run cross country, a lot of kids play volleyball, a lot of kids that. So they haven't probably taken as many shots and done all of those things. So it can be. So I think I always feel like I have an advantage defensively early. If my kids are buying in and we're doing what we need to do, I always feel like I have an advantage. So I try to get more things in defensively. I also think it builds tone in your practices and in everything you do early. My teams have been good the last couple of years, but they haven't been exceptional. But they've been one of the best defensive teams in the Big Eight. If you just statistically look at it, we've been one of the best. Because that's what we had to hang our hat on. It also helped with practice. It helped with, we're going to just stop people. We're going to try to stop Jalen, who's, going to be a lottery pick. Now, I was at Duke last weekend visiting for his official visit. So, yeah, those kind of things is what we're working on. What do you think?
I think it really comes down to defense is about you got to have value. It's such an important thing, and you have to constantly recognize that effort in practice. Right. We are constantly often valuing the kids that can score 30 points a game, but can you defend? Can you stop people? It's huge.
You can't play for me if you can't defend.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. I don't care how many points you
can,
score.
and you can be a great X and O guy and so forth, but if you can't get your kids to play hard and play defense and rebound, it's going to be a long season for you. It really is.
It's the reason the saying's there, I think. Defense wins championships. I'm not convinced that's true. I am convinced that you have to sell your team on the defensive end.
Yeah,
that's why I think that quote works, I think, from that standpoint.
But I think it's harder as a high school coach because, people can work the ball a lot longer in our situation with a shot clock,
Right.
And so, some people only have to get their guys to buy into defense for 20 to 30 seconds at a time, so
right.
Which makes the game a truly a different game in the state of Wisconsin, which makes it so great. That's what I like about it. And so, and then defense is really about breaking it down. Really it's about the rotations. I think often defenses are broke down on the second, third, and fourth rotation. I mean, that's really the key is can you get your guys to rotate from side to side? That's huge.
And I think it's a communication thing too,
absolutely.
To be honest with you. And that's where you can, if they're talking on the defensive end, they're going to talk on the offensive end. And, that's where most breakdowns I mean, some of it's effort, but not really. Part of it is like you think you know where you want to go, but you may not. And if your teammates are helping you, that's where I want chaos. I want like the pointing and the talking, and
right.
And that can set that tone early.
Use this quote with all sports I coach. I said, and I coach soccer. I've coached everything, and so basketball. I've always said that a losing field or a losing court is a quiet court. You know what I mean? And a winning field, and if I'm yelling loud, I need to hear all of you doing that as well.
Right.
Because that's the way things work. Communication. Because then your players learn how to work smarter, not harder. Too often guys work too hard where they out of position and so forth. They can communicate and get in the right position. You can really save yourself and be able to do things better defensively and not pick up cheap fouls and so forth.
Right.
As well. Yeah, I also think like the first 2 weeks of practice is really establishing kids not to get into foul trouble early defensively. That is a big thing. Because last year we did a podcast, What Wins Games Early, and I talked about the importance of not getting into foul trouble. To have your guys at the end of the game to win the game. And it's too often some of these guys, you especially got like maybe a sophomore kid or a junior kid that's just starting to get quality minutes at the highest level, they're turning to a gap because the speed of game is so much different at our level, at the varsity level, than compared to what they were as a JV or freshman team. So, if they can be able to establish themselves on the foul game, I think that's huge from a defensive standpoint as well.
Yeah, and I'd give some advice to the young coaches. It's like if they get in foul trouble early in the season, sit them. Sit them. They'll learn very quickly that stupid reach foul, I don't get to play as much. Woo, yep. So if you don't wait, you can't wait on that. You might it might hurt early, but it's going to be better.
And I think I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think it's really important, and I've been connecting with you for several years now, is that defense, you don't have to be great at everything, but having a lot of different things is really, really important. And I think often we think we got to be really great at man-to-man, and that's it. I think it's better to have multiple things and be good at, average at some things and maybe good at one thing, have different things, because getting a stop 2 or 3 times and then changing can really make a momentum change for a coach.
Yeah. Yes, especially in high school basketball, just because, if I was doing this for a living and I was coaching, I would go out and recruit. I'd be Tony. I would like Tony, goes out and recruit guys that can score and play defense, like his pack line. Like, great.
Right.
Same as Texas Tech. That's what they're going to get. If you can, but as a high school coach, you can't do that. So,
right, because they're only playing defense for 30 seconds at a time.
Right.
We got to be able to be creative. We have to be creative. Well, that just makes the game that more exciting. And sometimes it's a point in a game where you may have not even run the zone defense, but for a possession, you might have to do it. You might have to think outside the box. You gotta. It's just how it is. Sometimes.
I swear to God, I lost the state title to Tosa East, and he played 2-3 zone. He hadn't played it all year. We weren't ready, and it was enough to just change the tempo enough. It's like, oh my God! It's like we basically had 20 of their 22 games, and they never played 2-3. And then he drew it up. He said it in the post game. He drew it up, and because it was enough to change the momentum from us. So to get them moving. Those kind of things.
But I also think the last thing is I think changing defense keeps kids engaged throughout the game. If you constantly play the same defense over and over, it becomes monotonous and boring. And we're in a Snapchat world, as you always say, right? So if you can imitate that with defense and constant changes, all right, we're going to change to this app right now, back to this app, do. Kids like that. Kids like that constant change. It almost becomes a challenge, and it almost becomes fun for them, you know?
Right. It does, and it definitely becomes a challenge. All right, those are good. Those are good things to think about, coaches. You got anything else on that, Coach?
No.
Small-sided games, small stuff again. Don't you got to teach about if you're pushing baseline, how are you going to push baseline? How are you going to handle screens? All those kinds of, you can't get all that in 2 weeks. I get it. Look at your first couple opponents. What are they going to do with you? How are they going to attack you? And then adjust to that. You know, people are listening. This is high school hoops. You probably have a gut about what your first couple opponents are going to be, how they're going to handle screens, or how are you going to handle screens, or how are they going, all that I think is really important, because you can't get through all of it, and you don't have to do the minuscule, like, things you hear on clinics. Don't. It will blow your mind away. But
all right. Question of the day today is, oh man, I'm gonna just quickly.
Don't have one?
I don't have one.
Okay.
I know.
What do I want for Christmas?
There you go.
What do
there
I
you go.
want
What do you want
for
for Christmas, Coach?
What do I want for Christmas? That's good. I would say a state title, but I won't say that. I will say that I want my son to get into his first choice for college. That's what I'll say. And I won't say what it is because I won't jinx it. But
okay.
Yeah.
What do I want for Christmas?
And if the coach is listening to this, hopefully it's good at this point. We'll have the application in by the time this goes up, but we won't know yet. So go.
I think I just want to be able to spend some extra time with my family and do something fun over the holiday break. That's all I want for Christmas. Yeah.
What's the song? All I want for Christmas is my
two front teeth.
Yeah, I got those. Not real, because I dove into a wall when I was in 5th grade. But
well, that's
I got the ball,
story.
though. I got the ball.
There you go.
That's another story. All right, and one was a wall. One was a shoulder in college.
Really?
I pulled it out of the kid's shoulder. Yeah.
Did the tooth go through your lip?
No, the tooth broke off. Like,
oh my God,
shoulder bone. Yeah, and then I had to pull it out. It was pretty bad.
Wicked.
Yeah, so I would look like Dumb and Dumber if you've ever seen the movie. I mean, it wasn't the whole tooth; it was like the little crooked parts. So
sometimes our questions of the day just are quite entertaining for all our listeners. So
I hope you like those.
Hey, again, we don't edit this, right? We're real basketball players.
We're live.
Real basketball coaches, real dads, real teachers.
Yes, this is real.
Husbands. We are all real.
All right, till next week, Coach.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.